3, 2, 1. Alright guys, welcome to this episode of Head-to-Head Battles. Today's episode, we're going to be doing something we've never done before on this channel before.
It's
a ban list prediction slash wish list video.
Yes.
Alright, but before we get into this video guys, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Hit that notification bell and comment down below. Do you disagree? Because you just might get suplexed. Also guys, before I end up breaking every deck in Genesis Impact, make sure to go buy some cases and boxes of Genesis Impact over at HeadtoHeadBattles.com/sealed product.
We're an infomercial now.
Alright, so I want you guys to do that and show your support by, just buying the cases off of us, you know what I'm saying?
Take them from our hands, seriously.
Yeah, they're super cheap, guys. No, like really though, they are super cheap. Probably cheaper than you'll get it anywhere else, so make sure you guys do that. And let's get right into this video. Alright guys, so let's start off with the ban section because obviously that's where everyone, usually starts. But VFD is not on the ban list, and let me tell you why. This is more of not of a wish list, but my prediction on why VFD won't get banned. Now, it is a very strong card, but I believe that the game still can use it some way, some shape, some form, and somehow, right? VFD is a card that is later down in the list, but definitely not in the ban section, okay? I think that VFD is a very easy card to out, but maybe outing 2 or 3 might be a little difficult if that gives you a little bit of a hint. So the first card that's actually on the ban list is Martial Metal Marcher. Now, this card is a card that will use the tokens off of Link Cross, and it will make itself, and then use the tuner, and then summon it back, giving you a free body for literally no reason. Now you're saying, why don't you just ban Link Cross and you'll never make Metal Marcher anyways? Well, there are a lot of different ways to make Martial Metal Marcher. Now, if we ban Marcher and not Link Cross, a lot of the new creative synchro decks can still flourish, right? Because, I mean, unless they make a brand new summoning mechanic, the only thing Konami can do is buffer all the older mechanics. Synchro summoning being one of them, and it being really popular in today's meta. So if you ban Martial Metal Marcher, they can't extend. And usually during most combos, if I'm playing against Dragon Link or Infernobles, after they revive with Martial Metal Marcher, I just Nibiru them right there, and that generally ends their turn flat out, which means it is a huge choke point. So, but if they do have an extender, they can definitely play past it. But if you take out that choke point, it makes every other choke point much more vulnerable, making combo decks really think second and build their decks quite differently. So the next card on my list is freaking Smoke Grenade. All right, now Dragon Link players do play this, but not most of the more popular Dragon Link decks don't really play Smoke Grenade. But it's a free pop off of Rocket Tracer, which will summon you Rocket Recharger, which you're going to use for Borolo Savage anyways. But Infernobles is the one card really abusing this card, and listen, Yu-Gi-Oh needs to be fun. That's why we play Yu-Gi-Oh, and getting a card ripped, it's like show me your entire hand, right? It's like, hey, show me your bank account. It just doesn't feel good. I don't have that much money in my bank account. Anyways, Smoke Grenade is one of those cards that are like quite degenerate, strictly due to the fact that it's not once per turn. It's a really old card, and a new archetype slash new meta is abusing it. Now, there are a lot of cards that have gotten banned for that exact reason, like Destrudo, Masterpiece. And Smoke Grenade is one of those cards that really don't need to be in the meta, and it's not like Infernobles all of a sudden become a bad deck without Smoke Grenade anyways. The deck is still really good, like ending on Gearfried, and Charles, and a Savage, that's really, really strong, and not a lot of decks can out that, even if they had 6 cards in their opening hand. So the fact that Smoke Grenade is still here is a bit of an issue. Can it be changed just by banning it? I think it will solve a lot of problems. So Konami, if you're listening and or watching this video, I would like to think you're watching these videos. Please ban Smoke Grenade. So the next card on my list is LP. Alright, now LP is one of those cards that people have been asking to ban for the longest time, and understandable. Again, free Link 1 extender that even if you had a third of a brain, you could still learn how to position your arrows to, get that LP effect. Even if you're not playing World Legacy Guard Dragon, there are combos that, make the LP right underneath the EMZ, and then you summon another Link monster with arrows pointing left down and left right, and write down, and you use LP effect. It's a really strong card. Now in terms of a wish list, I mean, truth be told, I think LP is one of the weaker bans. I think there are a lot of other cards in the Dragon Link deck that could see a hit, but LP isn't one of them. But for the YouTube algorithm, I just have to say ban LP, I guess. And apparently this video will get like 3,000 views. But in the grand scheme of things, it's like 3,000 views. It's like not even that much.
All right, guys. Next card on the list is the very fun Dragon VFD. It's not that fun. Guys, this card needs to be limited. Honestly, outing one is pretty easy because if you have Imperm or Chalice, and honestly a lot of other cards, like it can be easily outed. But outing two or a third one, yeah, that's literally like opening 2 Imperms and 2 Chalices, which is like asking Konami for Colossus to come back. And speaking of Colossus, could we please bring this bad boy back to 1? Guys, this was my favorite card. And like this, Thunder Dragons was my first competitive deck. And after I got banned, I almost cried. But I understand Colossus is a walking droll with protection. So it can be pretty degenerate. And you can splash it in a lot of decks. But like, was it even great in the format? I mean, Strikers, Striker Orchist, Striker anything, honestly, has literally beaten this deck so many times. Just saying.
All right, the next card on the limited list has to be Azoldi. Now, Azoldi has 2 very broken effects, okay? One effect says, like, search a card to your hand, okay? Now, broken, right? And then it says, send for a cost from your deck to the graveyard, equip cards, and then summon a monster with the level of the equips that you sent. How has this been at 3 for any length of time? The card is broken. There's not a lot of cards that even have one of those effects. This card has both of those effects. It just doesn't make sense for this card to be at 3. Have you ever gammed someone's Azoldi and then they make another Azoldi? It's mind-boggling to think how this card is at 3. And like Farfa says all the time, can we please get this card at 1? No? Okay. Alright guys, so now I know this is quite controversial, and don't flame me in the comments for this one, but Engage could most definitely come back to 1. And you're saying, we just got rid of it, the deck, just let the deck die. I mean, the deck is kind of dead already. Widowmaker is back at 3, Kagari's back at 3. The deck has a lot back, but what really made the deck was Engage, right? Now, Engage at 3 is really degenerate, and Engage at 1 was, like, still made the deck playable, but again, there are, like, power creep is a real thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Dragoons is a card, okay? I don't think there's, like, any card that Strikers have that can, like, actually out Dragoons, like in archetype, right? Because, like, you can't target it, you can't destroy it, like, other than, like, Zeke, I don't think there's any other way. Do Strikers even have like a non-targeting send? Like, comment down in the comment section down below, because I'm drawing blanks. Engage is a card that can most definitely come back to 1, and due to power creep, Strikers will be a really fair deck that will be a very good deck in someone's hands that can play the deck really well, and it will reward those who know the meta and who understand the meta and just understand the game state better than your opponent. Because at that point, they could be playing any deck and still beating you. It literally doesn't matter that you're losing to Engage or not, right? Like, if you gave someone like Cody Angeloff the worst deck, they'll beat someone who is not as experienced and that is also playing the best deck, right?
Alright guys, next on the list is Fossil Dig. It is a once per turn, search your entire deck. It's worse than Misk. Limiting Misk to 1, I understand everyone's like all about Misk right now, but limiting Misk to 1 will only give the deck a bigger choke point, and just limiting Fossil Dig is just way better. And it's as if Fossil Dig was worse than Quick Launch, but here we are. Yeah guys, so we know Misk is an oppressive card for sure, but again, the Dino deck is at best tier 2 because of its very, very well-known choke points.
Now, I know we talked about VFD and why it's not on the ban list. I really feel like VFD is still a fair card at 1. I'm gonna get flamed for this, but listen, like, if your deck can't out VFD, if you're not already playing Gamma, Imperm, Chalice, the 30-cent card, you know, like that's not really their fault for being able to make VFD. It's kind of like your fault for not either, like even siding the cards that you need to out cards like VFD and Zexal anyways. Like these are cards that you should be playing if you are planning on playing in like the meta or any form of competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Because, I mean, these are staples, right? And they're called staples for a reason. Now, I know Elvish is a deck that hasn't been really doing a lot, but with the resurgence of Zoo Elvish and a lot of other Zoo Kaizu decks, right? I mean, the deck Elvish is still a very powerful deck. Now, Sanguine can really see a limit, or rather be limited, because it does hurt the consistency of the deck. Because Elvish can grind, man. They will literally grind your deck down unless you're playing the best deck, which is Grand Maju, and I've already beat a lot of Zoo Elvish cards. That's besides the fact, but limiting Sanguine basically makes them use, or rather depend on Curse of Elvish more, or they need to expend more resources and not use cards to be able to banish them, right? Because a lot of the Elvish cards are, hey, if you use Conquistador to summon itself, you can't banish an end phase, because you can only use each of these. Or you can only use, if you use one effect, you can't use the other one, right? I'm like, I can't English today. English is really hard. Yo, big shout out to Triff. I feel like Electromight could definitely come back to one. And in Blazing Vortex, which is coming out in about February or March, they're releasing a lot of new Metalfoes support. And I feel like Konami will unban Electromight to kind of give the deck a big boost. Now, Electromight is a very powerful card, but again, it's still kind of fair. I mean, even if you brought Electromight back to one before any of this Metalfoes support comes out, Pendulums, I mean, Pendulums! No, the deck, okay, so Pendulums is a really good deck and could use a little bit of a boost. After Electromight got banned and Servant went to 1, like, the deck did see a lot of hits, right? Because the deck is just known to be an aggro deck that, you know, if you hand trap them enough, they'll literally pass on nothing. But at the end of the day, with Electromight, it does give the deck a little bit of the resilience that it has gotten taken away from English, again. But Electromight is one of those cards that does help them add more cards to the hand and help them push past hand traps, right? Because like if you're not hand trapping, you know, the spellbook engine early on, you have to deal with the Electromight, and if you're holding it for Electromight, then you know they're still drawing 2, etc., etc.
Alright guys, next card on the list is Magical Meltdown. So yeah, we get it. You can't respond to fusion summons. You gotta be the last link in the chain. So as much as I love this card and this deck, it's a heck of a card in the right hands. It really is. This card searches you Alistair, and then Alistair searches you Invocation. Like, limiting this card will limit the entire engine. Like, if you Cosmic Cycle, I'm going game 2.
Okay, so hear me out. Okay, let's move on to the semi-limited list. Now, I feel like all the dangers that are limited to 1 could come back to 2, and I know what you're saying, bro. Like, bro, it's so degenerate. Free summons, free draw. Yeah, I mean, it is, but again, like, kaijus are a staple in the format currently. All the hand traps are a staple in the format currently, and I mean, if Nessie came back to 2, Tsushinoko came back to 2, and Jackalope came back to 2, yes, Jackalope and Tsushinoko are level 3 extenders that could be like more widely used in the BA/PK strategy. But at the same time, I feel like these cards, you know, the reason Konami banned it was rather preemptively, but I feel like these cards could come back and would see decent amount of play and would make the meta a bit more diverse, making these more fair decks be able to compete with the decks that are more unfair and or are more degenerate, right? Like with the unbanning of Bardiche and all these other things, bringing back the danger monsters back to 2, I feel like would be rather healthy for the game. Now, speaking of BAs, I feel like Beatrice could come back to 2 or to 3. It's really sad to see BA players end on a Beatrice set 3 pass. Like, you know, Fiendish Griefing is all of a sudden the best trap card in the game. I mean, it's not. Beatrice could come back to 2 here, and I feel like still they're going to end on a Beatrice set 3 pass anyways. But it gives them a little bit more of a grind game, right? Which definitely does help the deck out because BAs are known to grind, and that's what they do. And speaking of BAs again, let's move over to the unlimited list. Right now, we have Graph and Seer. I feel like both of these cards could come back to 3, but I can see how it would be degenerate. But if we got Tour Guide to 3, I don't see why we couldn't get Seer and Graph back to 3. I mean, they have it at 2 now, and they can do their, you want to see me do it again type of deal. But at the same time, like, what are they really extending into as of right now? I mean, unless Konami has a card that's coming out that is going to abuse that mechanic, currently as it stands, it really doesn't do much. And I feel like even at 3, like, it wouldn't make a huge impact in the meta, but again, it makes a fair deck be able to compete with the more unfair decks in the meta, which is healthier for the game because you'll have a more diverse meta, and you know, all the meta players will be on their toes because now they have to question themselves. Am I really playing a meta deck or not? Because the deck is just too fair. Because, you know, if you're power creeping out all the old decks, you know, give them some more cards back to power creep them back into the meta. And then you'll have a more diverse meta. I mean, I kind of thought about that on the spot and didn't take that much brain cells. Now, Toad and ABC Buster Dragon. Now, both of these cards, like, again, got preemptively hit because of, you know, the new, you know, you can summon all of them not in the extra monster zone anymore. I can see why Konami did this, but I mean, listen, Toad never hurt nobody. Like, Paleo Toads aren't doing much anyways. And Bahamut Shark was kind of a flop. I mean, people were like, oh my God, Bahamut Shark, free Toad. Like, it just never mattered at all. And ABC Buster Dragons, like, again, I don't know why it went to 1 to begin with, but it came back to 2. And the deck is still really popular. A lot of people play this deck. And with all the new cards like Union Driver and all those other cards, the deck is still really popular and really good. Although it does lose to a lot, but you know, that's any good deck just loses to a lot of things. That's why rogue players exist. Call by the Grave. It went to 1 because of Crossout Designator. We all know this. We all figured it out. It sucks. It made all the rogue decks really bad. Like, it made it like, okay. All my rogue players in the comment section, stand up, bro. Getting hand trapped on your normal summon, you just have to scoop. I mean, you won the die roll, everything's going your way. You know, you summon Madolche, Petting Sesor, and you get a hand trap. You didn't open Salon, you have nothing else. You don't have any back row because you opened 2 messengers and a hoot cake, and you just pass on a Petting Set. So that always hurts to see, and it hurts when it happens to you. I feel like Call by the Grave could come back to 3. I think Konami made a money move here. In terms of putting it to 1, they're trying to sell Crossout Designator, the new staple, but you know, Call by the Grave has been limited, semi-limited, unlimited, like so many times. Konami just needs to make up their mind and give us Call by the Grave back to 3 so as rogue players can top more events. I topped the extravaganza with Grand Maju. Speaking of a Grand Maju, Macrocosmos. Not a lot of decks in play under Macrocosmos, hence why D-Shifter is the best card and why Dark Law is at a hot second because, you know, it's D-Shifter, but there's a lot more steps to making it, which I don't want to take. I just want to go from hand to the graveyard when you normal summon, so you get D-Shifted on your normal summon, so I don't have to deal with Imperm or Gamma. Wait, did I say Imperm? I meant Gamma. But yeah, Macrocosmos is a really strong card. And if you want to stop combo decks and let back row decks kind of take its spot back in the meta, Macrocosmos is one of those blowout cards that even at 3, players should be having outs to those in the decks anyways, because if a back row deck becomes more prominent in the meta, people are obviously going to be playing more back row removal. And with Harpy Dusters at 1, Lightning Storm at 3, Twin Twister, Cosmic Cyclones evenly matched, so prevalent in the game, I feel like it'll be okay to have Macrocosmos at 3 as opposed to, you know, like even like Imperial Order at 3 might be a lot because it just literally says like you can't activate a mechanic in the game. But I mean, in terms of Macrocosmos, again, like I feel like it is a really fair card and will keep the meta in check by telling combo players like, hey, look, I side in 3 Macrocosmos. You better, you know, play some outs to it or you're gonna lose. All right, guys, that was our first ever ban list, wish list / prediction video.
Goodness, you're too excited.
All right, so if you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like this, make sure to comment down below. Let us know, hey, those are some pretty dope ideas. I disagree with you, I agree with you. Not everyone has to agree though.
No, of course not.
If you disagree, let us know in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. And I love like having conversations with you guys in the comment section. But if you want to watch us in real time and converse with us in real time, come follow us over at Twitch, over at
HeadtoHeadBattles.
We stream every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 p.m. EST. And we hold a lot of tournaments. We're holding a Genesis Impact case tournament this Sunday, December 6th at 3:30 p.m. EST. If you want to sign up for this tournament, go over to HeadtoHeadBattles.com/sealed product. You'll see a picture of Saitama. Click that link, pay the entry fee, and I'll see you at the tournament, guys. Oh, and join the Discord. Descriptions, all the descriptions are down the description box down below. So we're gonna catch you in the next one. We have to stream right now. This is Susu from HeadtoHeadBattles.
HeadtoHeadBattles.
Signing out.